everybody, and welcome. We are live from the sanctuary for Mind, Body, and Spirit. I'm here with psychic medium and all-around cool guy, Jerry McDaniel. How are you doing tonight?
Good. How about yourself?
I'm doing pretty well, thank you.
You got a big event coming up this weekend.
Yes, I'm really looking forward to it in Melbourne. And this event was postponed from August 1st weekend when a hurricane looked like that it was imminently coming through. So this has been a long time coming. So we've got Halloween this weekend, All Saints Day is Sunday, when the veils are the thinnest. And then it's also a full moon. So there's going to be some cool energies.
Yeah.
So
and also Day of the Dead on November 2nd.
Right.
Yeah.
Sorry you're not going to be there, but soon, hopefully,
Yeah.
once this all madness of 2020 has passed us by, you'll be back with us again. So, and before I forget about it, tell us about your book.
My new book.
Uh-huh.
I'm not going to be able to say that much longer. Beyond the Rational Realm, Let's in the Veil of the Spirit World. I love this book because Spirit wrote it, and I had Mary Ellen, to probably 95% of it done before I ever entered the hospital. So once I got out of the hospital, months later, I just, publisher I work with, we just did some editing, add some stuff, and I've had really good reviews, and it's selling pretty well. So we'll see.
Awesome.
Not a bestseller. Let's not mislead anybody. Not a bestseller.
Yeah.
But it's like I said, I like it so much more than the first book I wrote, Channeling the Mothership, Messages from the Universe. Sorry, I had to get that plug in.
And your first book won an award, right? Yeah,
Channeling the Mothership actually won 3 awards.
Wow.
This one's up for 1. We'll see how we do. Depends on which category you go in, but when Channeling the Mothership won for religion and spirituality from the Florida Publishers and Authors Association, or in Writers, I can't remember now. I was a member. I'm not a member anymore, so I got to re-up my membership. I thought that was really validation that it got, and it won the Gold Award in religion. I was like, wow. Oh my goodness, if my Catholic Church could see me now. And it won one for Mind, Body, and Spirit, and won an award for New Age. It was a finalist. Let me say that it was a finalist. It wasn't the top award, but in the Florida Publishers and Authors Association, I think that's the name of it. Excuse me if I get that wrong. It won the Gold Award, and religion and spirituality. And they had a big to do out at Lake Buena Vista, at your former neck of the woods. But I couldn't attend because I was visiting my brother, my sister-in-law in Tennessee, when they informed me that I won the award, and here's when the banquet would be, and there's not much I could do, but excited about it. So we'll see about this one. But
well, you mentioned being in the hospital, and you had a pretty significant life event when you were in there, and that was part of what drew me to pick the topic for our talk this evening, was about spiritual upgrades that we're going through right now.
Yeah.
Everybody kind of views this year as just, one fire after another, just one bad event. And I cannot help but thinking that we may be undergoing through some upgrades right now that we're not really aware of, or that we're not open to, because we just view it as being sick. And you had, now, did they know for certain it was a virus, or was it a bacteria?
It was a virus that attacked my heart. They just don't know what it was.
Okay.
And then while I was in the hospital, they were afraid, the kidneys started acting up a little bit. So they were a little bit concerned about the kidney. They figured, while we're in there and we're transplanting the heart, let's just transplant the kidney.
Right.
But they have to transplant the heart first. It has, quote, a shelf life of 4 hours. Wow. And that's why you always see them next day here, and then getting the heart. Kidney has a shelf life of 30 hours. Wow. So that's why they always take the heart last. But I'm very grateful to the family of, unfortunately, the 16-year-old boy of Cuban descent that lost his life. And the family wants to meet us, and we want to meet the family, and they've been tremendous. And we have a special gift for them I think I told you about it. It's a Build-A-Bear, but
Mm,
it's a Build-A-Bear with just a lot of neat stuff in it. And so
mhm,
we're anxious to send that to them.
nice. I remember when you first were in the hospital in very critical condition, and we learned that you were probably going to need the heart transplant. We prayed that you would get the heart, but then we also prayed for the person that was going to be donating it to you. It's
Yeah,
always a hard thing. You don't know what to wish for. So that's when you just pray that the universe is going to give us exactly what you need.
yeah,
And yeah, and then we just have to trust that. But I compared you as kind of being a scout for all
yeah,
the upgrades that we're going through this year.
yeah,
Um, and grateful if you had to go through it that it was not this year when things are not flowing like they should in any business right now because of COVID, because of different protocols and so many people working from home and it's difficult to get in and then and it's just a lot more difficult. So I was glad that you were already back home before the
yeah.
pandemic started.
Well, thank you. Yeah, we got home. I got home about a week and a half before it really hit. So I
Good.
came home on March 4th, and at that time I was the only one wearing a mask because of the transplants.
Hmm. Hmm.
Nobody else was wearing a mask except the people coming into the room,
Hmm.
people who visit me, doctors, surgeons, nurses, of course. And yeah, and my mediumship didn't increase, but my clairvoyance did.
Interesting.
I did a lot of messages and readings for people.
Hmm.
Um, probably 20, 30 people not at a time, but over the 8 months I was there.
Right.
And yeah, and so I could see things a little bit clearer. I
Hmm.
didn't see people who had passed walking through or anything like that. Some people do, but I didn't.
Mm.
Um, but I could just tap into the energies clairvoyant wise
Mhm,
and give the message. And there was some mediumship messages too of people who had passed.
mhm,
And it was just good to share your gift like that,
mhm,
you know. And it taught me, as we were talking earlier, right before we came on air, listening more to my intuition,
mhm.
listening more to instead of because we're really tough with intuition because we go by reasoning and
Mhm.
we go by logic and we go by substance of what somebody is saying, not how they're feeling, not picking up on emotions or feelings or things
Right,
like that. And women are just kind of tuned into the universe a little bit stronger,
mhm,
sometimes a lot stronger than men are. We just have to work at it. That's all.
right, and
Uh,
that it's finding the balance there too.
yeah,
Um, but with regard to our intuition, it takes me back to the reason that we incarnate on Earth, and not even just you or I, but this whole big picture.
yeah,
The Earth is for the betterment, the evolvement of human souls. And the reason that we took this on, and this is all in the Bible, in different words, just depending on how what language you speak, that when we were close to source, we could do anything. We could be anywhere, we could have it all. And then we chose to be able to come into a physical form in the body to experience things that we could not when we were in spirit. And that is working with other people. But a big thing of it is we relied 100% on intuition when we were in spirit. And here we tend to lean more towards the rational. And
yeah.
so that's what true evolvement and true ascension is learning to balance the intuition with the rational. And because we have forgotten who we are. So that's the name of the game, I think. So the
Well,
more Mhm.
you look at this pandemic, and it's not the universe's way of slowing us down. I thought about that earlier because so many people have died and suffered. But for those of us who are making it through, it is a wake up call to slow down and find that time to meditate.
Mhm.
Which I'm not. I'll be honest, I'm not really good at it. I keep running from place to place. Today I ran about 9 or 10 errands, and I could have.
Mhm.
Some of them didn't need to be done today, and
Mhm.
so it's finding that silence that's so uncomfortable for a lot of us,
Mhm.
and
Right.
to listen to our intuition, to listen to, as you said, the spiritual upgrade
Right.
or upload. And especially at night when so much information is being uploaded to us between 3 and 4 when the veil is thin,
Mhm.
or seems to be thin. And but we can't know what the upgrades or what our intuition is trying to tell us unless we slow down and listen.
Right.
You
Right.
know,
And trust the process. Trust that the
yeah,
universe will give us what we need. And that's a hard one because we feel like we need to be in control all the time. Um,
absolutely.
yeah, but we don't. And patience is not my thing. Um,
No, it's not mine either. As I've gotten a little bit older, I got a little bit crankier and impatient. And I try to say before reading something, Spirit gave me a little mantra: relax, allow, and trust. Relax, allow what you get, trust what you get.
mhm,
But my analytical brain still, I'm not quite there yet.
mhm,
I need to kind of turn off my analytical side of the brain and just let it flow.
right.
It doesn't have to make sense. A plus B doesn't have to equal C.
Mhm,
Um, and so yeah, it's just, but it's been such a learning experience for me. It really has. An
right.
8 years so far learning experience,
Oh,
and it's
yeah.
going to continue for several more years.
Mhm, mhm. Well, this year has really been a catalyst for everyone, and I really do think we get what we need, especially those that are having trouble with jobs and maybe financial issues and things like that.
Yeah,
But sometimes this is a catalyst to just do a complete reset for the universe to send you where you need to be, and then rather being in fear, if we can just trust that the universe will lead us and be open to anything, and then the big thing is just continue to do what makes us happy. If you don't have a job right now, finding what does bring you joy.
yeah.
We said earlier, we'll be so glad when this election is over because the negativity that's coming out of that is sometimes really hard to ignore, but trying to just avoid all of those things.
Yeah, I was thinking every day we get these huge postcards, political postcards in the mail.
Yeah, me too.
And
A lot
I
of
remember when,
lives.
yeah, when I used to run marketing campaigns for my account, we would do some direct mail pieces, and they were about half the size of these things, maybe a third of the size. And
Hmm.
this is years ago. This is 6, 7, 8 years ago. And those things were 35 cents a piece. And we'd send out 20, 30, 40,000 to
Hmm.
major markets like Atlanta, Tampa, certainly Orlando, um, Miami, Fort Lauderdale, and so forth.
Hmm.
And those were 35 cents a piece. So you're sending out 20, 30,000 of them. It's
Yeah,
expensive. Well, look at all these. I mean, these things are like a brochure.
they
I
are.
mean, they
Yeah.
are full color. We'd only use like 2 or 3 colors to keep the
Hmm.
cost down.
Hmm.
These things are full color.
Yeah,
And
we've got 3 voters in this house, so we're getting the same ads for everybody too, which is kind of
yeah,
frustrating. It just I've never had the recycling bin be as full as it is right now. But, did you see the really neat, commercial from the governors of Utah? They filmed it together, and they talked about that no matter who wins, that they're gonna be in this together, and it was really, really well done.
oh, the governors of what state?
Utah.
Utah. Yeah, I did.
Mhm.
I did see it briefly, and I thought it's the way it should be.
Mhm.
You
Mhm.
know,
Yeah.
they had an election in New Zealand, I think from the prime minister, I think, or probably prime minister, I guess. These
Mhm.
two ladies, and they're friends, and they're joking and laughing, but they're still running hard campaign. They're bringing out the issues. They're just not taking personal shots at each other. Um, so it's been one of those years. It really has, and that's an understatement. And no sooner than it seems like we're climbing out of the woods, then
Mhm.
we'll walk right into back into a new set of woods. And so
Mhm.
we ask God, universe, spirit, we ask our spirit guides, we ask archangels and ascended masters, what's going on? And they're going,
Mhm.
this has been coming for a long time,
Mhm.
and just work through it because you never know how easy you have it till something like this comes along. You know.
Mhm.
Um, anyway,
Yeah. So, I what I think my perception is, as long as we're in duality, which is like I talked about in the beginning, um, as long as we're not in spirit where we rely solely on intuition and we're not sort of weighted down by the body, that
Yeah.
as long as we're in duality, we are always going to have what's perceived as negative, positive, black and white, right and wrong. So what is going to change isn't that. I think that this 3D dimension is always going to be like this. What's going to change is us.
Yeah.
So we, can maintain the higher vibration. We actually go to a place where the vibration is higher, and it may look very similar. I think we've been going back and forth between 3D and 5D for some while now. And that,
Well, if you look at it from an environment standpoint,
mhm,
and this is because this could be spiritual environment. Um, we really need to change the environment before it changes us. And the environments that we live in, even spiritual environment, maybe not spiritual environment, let me take it back. The environments on the airplane, they've changed us. And not for most of them, not for the better. And
right.
the only way to change that is one mindset at a time. And I mean, just on Facebook, just
Mhm.
the vicious stuff between friends that have been friends for 10, 15, 20 years is just,
Right.
I thought, well, what are you going to do? One of you is going to win and quote win, and one of you is going to quote lose.
Mhm.
And then where are you going to take the friendship? Well, it wouldn't surprise me. Most of them aren't friends anymore over
Yeah.
a political race. I understand it's important.
Right.
All political races are important. And I understand this is for the president. It's not president, but it's not worth losing a friend over.
Right. I went through a phase where I really could not understand how my friends could vote for a candidate that I viewed. And again, let's not get into a discussion about right or
Yeah,
wrong. It's about me. It's about Mary
yeah,
Ellen. That I viewed as racist, sexist, and just a jerk. Somebody that was embarrassing to the way that he acted as the president of the United States, an office that I really revere. And I realize that people on the other side don't really view it like that. They just think their opinions are right and mine are wrong, or that we have a difference of opinion. But this is the first time in the political venue that, to me, it was about that. And it was about, how can we be friends when your morals are such different than mine? And I had to do a long kind of thing about it. And then I really see that's not quite how they see it. And I
yeah.
don't get it. I don't know how, but that's not really how they're seeing it either. So it,
Well, this,
yeah, a
yeah,
growth.
this election, it's not a referendum on the two guys running for president. It's a referendum on the voters. And
Yes.
to me, that's where the viciousness
Yeah.
comes. There are both sides are attacking the other side of voters. And I'm
Right.
like, well, people fought and died for it to protect the Constitution so they could vote. Let them vote how they want.
Right.
You probably aren't going to agree with them, and
Mhm.
they're probably not going to agree with you. There's two sides to every story. For one side of what you saw, then there's the other side going, well, this guy is, I don't know. It's just, it's negative energies.
Yes.
It's why I won't watch hardly any news
Right.
or the debates. I did watch 45 minutes of the first one, and I just couldn't
Enough.
take it. I just, if
Right.
I was drinking, I would have been schnockered within
Right.
an hour. But anyway,
But
universe doesn't
I
like
do want to say that my views have changed a little bit, that I really do kind of understand a little bit more now how people that I really align with, that are my friends, can really view that is differently, because that's not how they're seeing it.
yeah.
Um, and it's
Your
not
perception becomes your reality. It's how you
right,
see things
right.
on both sides. Both sides. I mean, there's everybody's fingerprints is on this,
Right.
and universe. It's such negative vibrations, such negative energy,
Mhm.
and and the universe just spirit doesn't like this. Universe doesn't like this,
Mhm.
and so Kay do some purging, I guess, every now and then. Not like the movies, of course, uh, but yeah. Although at times you feel like that, but
Mhm.
no matter who wins, I feel change is coming, and hopefully that change will be for the better.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and anyway,
Yeah, it's been a learning experience for all of us too. But like you said, I will just be glad when it's over. Just the whole negativity, all the ads, paper, television, otherwise. And hopefully we can just kind of go back to healing from this year,
Yeah.
this firestorm of a year that it was. So let's take a break from our chat here and we'll take a question. Are you ready? Are you ready, Jerry?
I am
All
ready.
right. Okay. All right. Deborah has a question.
Yeah, Deborah Dunning. I think I know this person. That name sounds familiar. First of all, Deborah, I've had 2 back surgeries and I'm walking. And mine was L4, L5. Yes, you will walk again. A lot of this, Deborah, again, your intuition, your energy, your inner self, not your inner self, excuse me. No, I'm just going to say your inner self, not your higher self. That's different. That's outside you, but your inner self is within you. You will walk again. And I got to tell you, spending the time in the hospital, if I can share this with you, Deborah, I didn't walk for the longest time. I mean, I couldn't even, I would stand up and my blood pressure would nosedive. And at about 3 seconds, I couldn't even get in a walker. It was 10 months before I was able to walk on my own, which was 8 months of hospital, 2 months back at the house. And but I have, Spirit says you will walk again. There's God's not done with you yet in terms of walking. And there's places you've got to go and people you've got to help heal, because I think you're a healer, Deborah. Mm-hmm. So please have that confidence and please put it out to the universe. Not will I walk again? And I'm not a motivational speaker. This is not Tony Robbins' segment. Okay. Mm-hmm. But you say, I will walk again. Not will I, but I will walk again. Mm-hmm. And it's, Deborah, it's going to be tough. It's not going to be easy. Mm-hmm. Some days, and I'm sure you've had them, you're going to give up. And Spirit just says, don't give up. Just don't give up. And yeah, the universe just said, you're a fighter. And some days you're going to say, well, I guess this is it. It is what it is. No, this isn't it. There's places you need to go. Your quality of life needs to get back to, even, Deborah, I don't know what your quality of life was like before your surgery, but even better than what it was. Your mm-hmm. quality of life is going to be better than what it was. And that's what Spirit says. Mm-hmm. And you've got 2 people. I'm trying to ascertain, Deborah, if this is a mother, father, or grandmother, or grandfather, because their essence and energy is about the same. So I'm not quite sure who it is, but there's an M. I won't say like Mona or something, but there's an M initial to one of the people's names. Okay, and names are just not quite my specialty. I'm getting better. Spirit wants me to stop saying names aren't my specialty, so I'll stop saying it. But you have people who have passed who are really proud of you. You got through the back surgery, and you're going to walk again. And it's going to be slow. But one day when you decide, this is what they told me, it came true. One day it will click. It will just click. Mm-hmm. And you won't be out running a 10K, but you're going to be out walking. And you'll never take walking for granted again, like I don't. But I feel very good, Deborah, about this. I really do. Not just giving you false hope, but giving you what Spirit says. And I could sense immediately the energy around you. And yeah, so I feel good about that.
I read a really great book by Dr. Joe Dispenza, and it was called You Are the Placebo. And he had gotten hit.
Oh, it's a great title. That's a great title.
Yeah, he was hit on a bike. He broke his back anyway. Oh. And he was able to practice the neural, when we study the neuroscience, basically.
Yeah.
And about how he believed that he would get better, and he did get healed. And I know that it's not that simple, but we can be healed. We can create what we want.
Absolutely.
And I know that that's really, it smarts when you're in pain and you've got a medical condition going on, but I highly recommend the book, was the point of it.
That's a great title. And we do have the ability to do healing ourselves. We really do.
Mm-hmm.
God, universe, spirit, let's just say God made incredible bodies.
Mm-hmm.
And I learned so much about the body when I was in rehab for 3 months, I think,
Mm-hmm.
about the balance, finding the balance. It's like finding a balance in the universe.
Mm-hmm.
I have 2 candles here lit. I did light about 12 or 14, but I was afraid it was going to set off. So now I light 2. One is balance and harmony in the universe, and the
Mm-hmm.
other one's for the people I'd be giving messages to, or spirit
Mm-hmm.
would be giving messages to tonight.
Oh.
And I'm going to predict that Deborah's sixth sense will be even more aware now that she's out of the surgery. Something happens. I can't explain it, but it happens.
It's interesting.
You don't have to go through back surgery, but sometimes when we go through trauma,
Mm-hmm.
and Deborah can tell you, back surgery, Mary Ellen, I mean, you can't sit, you can't stand, you can't lay down, you can't get to sleep. It's,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, any surgery is bad, but to me, it was like the worst. And these were 2 back surgeries I had years ago I used to run, I used to jog, and just can't jog anymore. There's no place I want to get to real quick anyway. So, but yeah, Deborah, your sixth sense gifts are just going to explode.
Hearing what you're intuiting about Deborah, it takes me back to our topic tonight, and that is about spiritual upgrades.
Yeah.
So it gives spirit an opportunity to work on us, to kind of rebuild, realign, redo the energy, and that's a lot about what happens with these spiritual upgrades. Is they do kind of rewire your circuits. When I was teaching my metaphysical class, I would always kind of caution people that when you're going through either a difficult time or really going through an upgrade, that it would not be uncommon for your guides to kind of tune down your intuitiveness or your connection to spirit, because if they don't, it could fry your circuits literally.
Yeah, you got to make room for the upgrades.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
So
And
that's why
yeah.
surgery or injuries is a great time for them to be able to do that work on you.
Do you still teach any metaphysical classes?
I don't right now, and I was going to start this year, so I'm hoping, as soon as things really kind of cool off.
You should, with your knowledge. You really should. And
Mm-hmm.
no, I'm not getting paid to suck up to the teacher here, but you should, because nobody. Sign me up as soon as you start.
Oh, good. Oh, good.
Yeah, sign me up.
And I love that we can connect this way online, but there's something about being together and just being able to, visit. And even before and after the class, just usually we would always have a snack, because then everybody got a chance to talk with each other, and then you could
it's that equal exchange of energy.
Right.
That, like I know I've said this a million times, I'm Catholic, and so I watch Mass on, I go to St. Stephen's, and I watch Mass on, on my laptop, streaming Mass. That's what I'm trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not the same because the energy isn't there.
Right.
And I even remember before they would let people into the building, it'd be the 2 priests and a deacon preaching and going through the Mass to an empty crowd. And I could tell the difference between them now and them then and them now, which they only have 250 people, but still the energy is there. It's that energy.
Right.
So,
right.
Deborah,
Which you do build, especially in Mass, in that type of ritual, especially in something like that. So,
yeah.
All right. Well, let's pause for just a second, and we'll go to another reader question.
Sure.
So this one's kind of heavy, but very important, I'm sure. Peggy.
Okay.
So this is a layered question. So it's two questions, and I'm interested about the dreams.
Okay. It's funny. Geez, Peggy, I wish I just bought this huge dream book, because Spirit's been wanting me to take a dream journal. What Spirit is telling me, I'm going to take the second part about the dream. Okay, Peggy, I hope that's okay. So what Spirit's telling me is, a lot of times when the same thing repeats itself, it's unfinished business. And it could be that there's closure that needs to happen. And to go through something what you're going through, closure is very difficult. I understand it. I'm not saying it looks good on paper. I'm just saying there has to be some closure. I'm not So I want to go to your question, Peggy, on will I ever see him again? I think you will, but it may not be in this type of relationship. Okay. And I don't comment on, things such as this. Spirit won't let me comment too much on it because I'm not Dr. Phil, and well, Spirit's alive in my office. I don't know if you just heard that. But I think you will see him again, but maybe not in this relationship. And I think it's important that you do, even I think it's a casual setting. You run into him, and his Spirit says you're going to discover that the energy isn't there. You may think it's there, but when we see somebody face to face, we go, okay, geez, not what I thought it was going to be. But there has to be some type of closure. And however you achieve that, where you can dream about him every night. And I think you do. I don't think you're estimating. I think it is every night. Spirit wants you to move on and find peace and happiness. If you have found peace and happiness since this gentleman left, which I sense you haven't, but the only way to find peace and happiness, the Spirit tells us all the time, is to move on. We have to move on. And it's difficult to move on, but we have to move on. And at some point, bury the past. You don't have to forget the past. To forget the past, I think, would be impossible. That's how memories are formed. But Spirit always says, if you're going to bury the past, throw away the shovel. Every now and then you want to dig it up, take a look at it, and say, I am moving on. And Spirit tells me you're a beautiful person inside and out, and you doubt yourself. And I think we all do at times, Peggy, but you would be surprised, or maybe you wouldn't, but I'm just going to say, Spirit saying you would be surprised at how independent you can become when you achieve closure. It's a tough thing to do. You can go through the emotions. You can go through being angry, and that's okay to be angry, because anger is one of our basic 7 emotions that we have. But Spirit always warns us about turning that into bitterness, because bitterness eats away at our health, spiritual health, emotional health, mental health, and physical health. And so I think that's all I have for you. I hope that helps. But somehow there has to be some closure within yourself to achieve that. That's when you listen to your intuition, as Mary Ellen was talking about. What is your intuition? Is your soul talking to you? Mm-hmm. And your soul is going to go where you go. If we say the soul is the essence of who you are, then wherever you go, the soul goes. Sometimes good places, sometimes not good places. Now, if you dream every night about setting his car on fire, then that's probably not a good dream. I'm sure the thought crossed your mind.
It's hard because a relationship isn't just about the end of the relationship. It's about the end of routines, and habits, about your dreams. Sometimes you change in friends and things like that. So I get it. And I guess, it would be just finding things to replace those in a way that's positive.
Yeah, because, with Peggy and this gentleman, that was her universe. Mm-hmm. That was his universe. We all have different universes, right? That was their universe. And it's not just somebody goes and leaves. Okay, wish your luck. It's not that, that. We all know that. It's just not that simple. And this is hard. It's hard for me to say this. Find some way to wish this person happiness and peace. Mm-hmm. That will release you. It's difficult to do, Peggy. I know. I've struggled with it too. We all have. Mm-hmm. but I think Peggy is really going to get through this. And I think the dreams will stop at some point because Spirit is just telling you in our dreams, the filters are down, the borders and boundaries are down, and Spirit talks to us through our dreams. What Spirit says is there's unresolved, not questions, but just some closure needs to happen. So good luck, Peggy. God bless. I'll say a prayer for everybody who's online tonight, for sure. But
for everyone, I put up your website there too. So if people
thank you
are
so much.
interested in longer readings, they can get in touch with you right there as well. And then also, I've got a little thing that we'll put down here at the bottom. If people would like to sign up for your
wow, look at that. It's scrolling at the bottom. This is like CNN. This is like CNN or Fox News or breaking news. Jerry has a monthly newsletter. It's only one page.
Yeah.
I like things concise, you know.
Oh, but it's good. I just like the energy of it. It's really good.
Oh, thanks.
So, yeah. So, all right. And then who we are, I'm your host, Mary Ellen, and I'm here with psychic medium Jerry McDaniel. And
but you know, those relationship things, those are tough. They're the toughest because they're the toughest for Spirit to offer advice or counsel. You know, I don't get in between relationships like that. I just tell you what Spirit says. And a lot of times it's listen to your intuition. Spirit wants people to use their intuition. I told this one young lady who had kind of the same similar situation Peggy went through. And Spirit said she needs to trust her intuition. She knows the answer already. Now, Peggy's is a little more complicated. But this young lady's wanting to know about her gentleman friend. And I said, let me tell you what Spirit tells me. It's going to seem like a cop-out, but Spirit wants you, because even on my website, in one of my tabs, what to expect in reading, I don't have all the answers. Mary Ellen, you don't have them? I don't have. Nobody has all the answers. And a lot of this stuff, we grow our intuition, we grow our spirituality when we listen to the voice and when we meditate and listen. I say listen to the voice, listen to the voice of Spirit, universe, God, our spirit guides, and ask them for help. You don't have to know your name of your spirit guides. Ask for help. Just say, hey, listen, I really need a break here.
Yes.
I am really struggling. I need some help. You got the ascended masters. You got the archangels. I mean, you know, Michael's the real strong kick butt archangel. And I can't think of the one that does the healing. I'm sorry, I'll think of it in a minute.
St. Francis?
Raphael. I knew it was one of the 4 Ninja Turtles. I'm sorry. So that's how I remember. Donatello, Michelangelo, Raphael. What's the other one? Gee, somebody's going to probably tell me the other one. Oh, anyway. But it's Raphael, called upon Archangel Raphael. And listen, these archangels are in the Bibles. These archangels are listed, and again, I'm Catholic, I know, but even in the masses, we name the archangels. And so it's not just a particular religion or New Age religion or whatever. These archangels are real. They're here to help us. Raphael is for healing, and Peggy needs some healing. And so I'll pray tonight that she gets it. So.
And when we come into this lifetime, we do make plans and we do decide what experiences we want to have, and we'll plan certain things. You know, our parents, places we might live, people we might meet, have relationships with, things like that. And I feel like that we're very energetic when we're on the other side, and we think that we'll just lop everything into one and just get so much growth done at the time. And then we get here and it's like, what are we thinking? You know, it's just a lot. Yeah. And I don't think that it's a bad thing to tell your guide that you either want to end a karmic bond that you may have made with a certain situation or growth opportunity, or just to say, give me a break. I think that that's very good.
No, you're absolutely right. And you can even get downloaded too much information and to where, you know, they're just, okay, you want more, we'll give you more. It's almost like the Matrix, right? We'll give you all this stuff. Well, we're not like Neo. We can't take all this stuff in. And as you said, you said it beautifully a while ago, Mary Ellen, we can only take in so much, and we have to use what is important to us. It's like reading a book. I always look for, of course, I'm really bad at reading books, which I shouldn't say coming from an author of 2 books, but I just have a short attention span, if you haven't noticed. But I look at a book or read a book, and I'm looking for 8 to 10 one-liners and things I can take from that book that I can really remember and apply. And late at night, if you're waking up with constant headaches, you're getting a lot of downloads.
Yes.
And from spirit, and it's okay. Like Marianne said, it's okay. Say, time out. Right. I can only take in so much. Yes. I only have so much energy. I only have so much light.
Yeah.
I'm not in the other dimensions and so forth. Right. I'd like to get there, but I'm not there. So anyway.
All right. Time for another question.
Yes.
Jenna would like to hear from her grandmother.
April 29th. Wow, it's their 6-year anniversary. So let me see if I can pull her in. So Jenna, use your energy. Because as I tell people, it's, Marielle knows this, mediumship is not on demand. Actually, you got 2 females coming through. First one is a sister. Now, it could be an aunt, sister of your mom or dad. Now suddenly I see 3 females. You're drawing a crowd, Jenna. Okay, I want the grandmother's in the middle, and she may have been old, but she doesn't appear that old. In other words, normally I might see grandparents as 80s or 90s or something like that, but she could have been in her 70s. I have no idea how old she was. I can just tell you how young she looks. Now, she doesn't look 30s or 40s. It'd be hard to identify for me. I just kind of see an image. Jenna, think of it like this: seeing somebody through a frosted glass. You can kind of make out the image, but you can't quite see. Oh, she's smoking a cigarette. So I said, can you give me some signs? So I don't know if she smokes cigarettes here on Earth, but she's smoking a cigarette. And for some reason, she thinks she shouldn't be doing that. So she put that out. She says, thank you for all you have done since she has passed away. And I'm going to ask her a little bit of clarification on that. She talks about you change your hair color. If you haven't, I don't know. I'm just telling you, that's what she says. Just as beautiful. Thank you for being the one that listened. So you have siblings. I think you were kind of your grandmother's favorite. Just don't tell your siblings that. If they're listening, then I'm in trouble. But, and she just showed me, she just said something about a sports car or a flashy car. So I don't know if you got a new car. It's flashy. She doesn't smoke. Okay. Well, she shouldn't be smoking. Shame on her. This is a red. Yeah, but this is somebody. This is either you or somebody connected with you with a red car. She showed me a red sports car, like a sports car. And she's showing me upper body. I don't know if that's how she passed, but I know that's generic, but I give you what I get. So she's showing me something about upper body. And so, and like her arms, something with her arms, I feel her arms shaking. Her arms, her hands are just shaking like this. Liver disease. Well, it's upper body, but I don't know why the arms are shaking. I don't know if that causes your arms or hands to shake. I'm just showing you what she's doing. She's showing me this is how she felt now. And a lot of times I'll say, Jesus, it was quick. And the person receiving the message will go, well, if she went downhill over a year or 2. I said, well, she feels like it went quick, or the person felt. So she says she felt like she was here one day and then it went downhill real quick. Obviously, with liver, it's going to, but she says quicker. A matter of, she's showing in 5 to 7. I don't know if it's days would be kind of difficult, but I'm not going to analyze it. It's either days, weeks, months.
She said that these things aren't really relating to her grandmother. I'm wondering if
Okay.
maybe it's somebody else.
Yeah, it's if yeah, this woman looks in her 60s. The other two were on opposite side of her, and she stepped forward in the middle, and they were kind of treating her like she was the, the kind of like the matriarch. And so this is somebody else connected to her. Then, if none of this makes sense, I apologize, but I can certainly tell you this is this. I asked for validations. I asked her to give me a sign. She smoked, or she doesn't smoke. Then she said something about a flashy car. Of course, she doesn't drive. I don't think you can get liver. It's almost like she had not dementia, but Parkinson's, something with Parkinson's. So I don't know who this is. What was the initial of her grandmother? Can you ask her? Well, she can probably hear me, I'm sure. First initial is all I need.
All right. There's a bit of a delay, so.
Okay, that's okay. Because a lot of times I put the initial of their first name. I'm still seeing an M. A while ago I got an M, but it was with somebody else. And now I'm seeing an M. So I'm not too sure this is a grandmother. Ooh.
Yeah, she's not responding.
Okay. So I apologize. It's not her grandmother. I don't think the other two is 3 women. The other 2 women are not a grandmother either. They look young. One's a sister of somebody, either her sister or, which I don't think it's her sister, mom or dad's sister. Okay, is she still there? I wonder.
She hasn't responded back.
Okay.
The last thing she said was she died a few weeks before her birthday. So.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Oh, I see it now. She died a few weeks before her birthday. So she would have passed in March.
Oh, sorry. She's saying it might be someone else's grandmother. Jenna, he was asking for what her initial is because he had initially seen 3 people, just to see if that was the.
Yeah, it's not going to be anybody else because of her energy. It's going to be somebody. Well, it could be somebody else, but it's going to be connected with her.
Mm-hmm.
They don't allow random people to walk through readings. It just doesn't. But and she's right. It could be somebody else's in her family, a cousin's grandmother or something.
Mm-hmm.
But I noticed she didn't say anything personal other than she thanked Jenna for what she did, and that doesn't seem to be her. And Jenna, I'm so sorry.
Well, and it may be that later on it will come out, who it was.
So. Yeah, and I always tell this story because it's not a CYA move. It is what it is. Science isn't exact, and doing this kind of work isn't exact. The first time I ever got a message, I thought it'd surely be my parents or my aunts and uncles who had all passed, who I was close to. And it was my mother's father, who I was kind of close to, but I hadn't seen in a decade. Mm-hmm. And he came through. And he was the only one that came through for, he probably came through consistently through these mediums for at least a year. Mm-hmm. It was just Peppo. I love Peppo. Don't get me wrong. I don't think he would have made the top 10 list of people that I would want to connect with. Mm-hmm. And so if I get anything else, the lady that stepped through in the middle, she passed in March. See, that still wouldn't explain the M. I'm not going to connect the dots. Mm-hmm. If there's because that's not my job to connect the dots. But
why don't we circle around to another question,
yeah,
and then if anything comes through later.
yeah,
Let me see. Jessica.
okay, Jessica. Okay, the first thing I'm getting, Jessica, is there's a new path for you that is either has opened up or will soon open up. This path is going to lead to, I don't know how you travel with COVID-19. It's going to lead to some travel. It's going to lead to some adventures. God, sounds great so far. I see a shift in somebody's job, either Jessica or somebody in her family. And the shift in the job is a good shift. It's I guess you can call it a promotion, but there's going to be more finances. I want to go back to this path though, Jessica. This path seems to be, it seems to have, they're showing me potholes in it that everybody else would say, hey, potholes, got to avoid the potholes. But Spirit is calling you to be a daredevil and take a risk. Now, this path could also, it kind of reminds me of somebody who's looking for their family, or somebody who wants to learn a little bit more about their true self. And that could be genealogy. And again, that could be not a physical path, but a path. There's Spirit says there's just a desire to know a little bit more about where you came from. It reminds me, Jessica, of the reading I gave someone who was adopted, and they were looking for their parents. And then through the messages, Spirit discovered two sisters and a mom and a brother, but the person kept forging ahead. So I think there's some messages, or there's some questions you have, Jessica, unanswered about the family, about your family, and whether it's genealogy, whether it's something else. But you're going to find out an awful lot about yourself. And it's exciting stuff. It's good stuff. You are an empath, and you do have that ability. You just got to remember to kind of protect yourself from messages. I'm sorry. I was thinking messages. Protect yourself with prayers from Spirit. Make sure that you are, make sure you're protected in the morning and the evening. When you're an empath, you pick up on sensitivities. You pick on energies. Unfortunately, you can also pick up if someone's, it's like you walk into a room, Jessica, and there is, it could be a room full of people. It could be you're feeling great. And you're telling the person you're with, hey, I feel great. It's going to be a great event. And all of a sudden, there's somebody on the other side of the room, maybe even close to you, maybe they're on the other side of the room, and they've got a cold. And all of a sudden, you start feeling a little bit congested. Now, it doesn't mean if somebody has cancer, you pick up cancer. That's not what an empath is. But you're picking up on those energies, whether it's positive or negative. And when you're sick, it's a negative energy. So just make sure, and you can look up empath. I don't know if anybody's told you that you're an empath. Also, Spirit is calling you to do a tarot card reading. It's something about tarot cards with you. I've had 2 or 3. I don't do tarot cards. Other people do. And some of them have been just spot on. So either do a tarot card reading, or Jessica, they want you to learn how to do tarot cards so you give readings for other people. But that's what I've got, is a little bit about the background of your family and where they're from, more than what you know now. And there's a gentleman coming forward, either a father or an uncle, who's encouraging you to take, oh, you just bought your first deck. Oh, good for you, Jessica. I expect big things out of you, Jessica. There's a gentleman who's either a father or an uncle. He's giving off that fatherly essence, saying, "Oh, saying they want you to go far and learning more about yourself." And I guess this ties into learning about your gifts. I've done genealogy, Jessica, and I can't really name anybody that had these gifts that I do. They had them. We all have gifts, sixth sense gifts, but okay. But just buying your first deck, I am so proud of you. It won't be the last deck you buy, Jessica. You'll do Celtic. You'll do Celtic cards. You'll do angel cards. Do regular tarot cards. God, there's so many of them now. I think once you get into this, it's going to be such a passion. So, Jessica, good luck with the tarot cards. That's great. That's beautiful.
Okay. We're getting near the top of the hour here, and I don't mind if we go over. We could stay here all night. We've always got so much to talk
Yeah,
about.
I don't know if we go over either.
Okay.
And I may want to wait. Sarah. Okay. Oh,
Now
look at that last name.
She's got others that are that have crossed over as well too. So
okay.
Just tell her what you get.
Okay. First thing, Sarah, I want to talk to you about. Spirit wants to talk to you about your sixth sense gifts. Okay. I sense you're a medium. Since mediumship is real big, I don't know if I just feel you connect with loved ones. Even when you don't try, you feel loved ones near you. And so I think 2021 is going to be a really good year for you to use your gifts to help people, because you're also a healer. You're like Mary Ellen. You have a lot of different gifts, and also something about auras. I'm from the South. I don't know if I pronounced that. Mm-hmm. Well, I'm from Memphis, so what can I say? AURA, auras. Mm-hmm. And I think you're going to be called to do some aura work. Can I say that? I don't know if I said that correctly, aura work. But I really think one of your gifts is mediumship, Sarah. For some reason, I see a Facebook page, not your personal, and trust me, I don't know, I don't go searching you out, but as soon as you came on, I said, she's got a Facebook page. I mean, she's got a public Facebook page. Like, here's my gifts. There's something about flowers with you too. Flowers and oils. Okay, so your daughter's path, let's see. Okay, so okay. First of all, I'm sorry for your loss. I can't imagine how difficult it is to lose a child. The Spirit says you do feel your daughter when she's near you. You feel that chill. When you feel that chill, that's a loved one, but I think it's your daughter. I'm looking at a tragic, quick death. That's what they're telling me. Now, she could have had a disease or an illness for a long time, but I'm looking at a tragic death, which most of the time means could be an accident, could be whatever. I mean, any death is tragic, but I think you understand, Sarah, what I'm saying. Don't know how old your daughter was, but she appears as a teenager to me. And I'm not good with age, a teenager or maybe 20, but I mean, teens. I say early, but I mean young teens. And she's barefoot holding a flower. She talks about she found her peace and happiness. Not that she was looking, because she also says you're mom of the decade. She's got a big medal for you, big medal, mom of the decade. And she said this. Now, you understand what this means? I don't. I mean, I understand what it means. I don't understand what it means to you. She said, quit, please, mommy, which indicates a much younger, it's mommy. Please, mommy, quit feeling guilty about my passing. There's nothing you did. But I'm at peace and I'm really by your side. And she's excited about a new house. She talks about a new house, whether you did renovation or painted the place or whatever, or you moved. She's talking about excited about the new house. And if you're not going to move, then guess what? She wants you to move. But they have to understand. I think they understand we have to pay bills. They don't have to do that anymore. She said she tried to be a good daughter and listen, and sometimes she didn't. And it's a tough one. And I don't know how she passed. I don't need to know how she passed. It's not my business how she passed. But she said one time the times I didn't listen, it really cost me. And that's as far as Spirit wants me to go with that. And you understand what that means. But she loves you so much. She's so proud of you. She said, I always thought I had the most beautiful mom in the world, and I still do. So she's around you a lot, not all the time, but she's around you a lot. And she's around another family member that she says needs her attention because you're just such an independent go-getter. It doesn't mean you forget about her. It just means you have the ability, the old saying, pick yourself up by your bootstraps, which was a military term, I think, and move on because they wore boots in the military. But she loves you dearly. And she will come through as you start to use your sixth sense gift. She will absolutely come through. Don't know if she's appeared in a dream yet. If she hasn't, that's okay. Be patient. I lost my brother in May of 2019. He hasn't come through yet, but he sends me signs like a hawk. Hers is a butterfly. One of her signs is a butterfly, but he's brightly colored butterflies. So she's around you a lot. And she sends you her love and says she's not in pain anymore.
Aww.
And so, Sarah, beautiful reading.
Yes. Yeah.
And use your sixth sense gifts, young lady, and you're going to be surprised at what you could do.
I wonder if that's Sarah there, her picture, or if that's her daughter. I was going to say she doesn't look old enough to have a daughter who's 18. Maybe that's her daughter.
Well, could be.
Mm-hmm. She asks also, is anyone with her there on the other side?
It's almost like, I don't know if this is Sarah's father, but there's a grandfather with her daughter. So this is somebody's father that is with somebody's grandfather. Her daughter's grandfather. So somebody's father, either Sarah's or some. But there's a grandfather, and then there's this is somebody who's almost like a brother to her. I'm hearing brother.
Mm-hmm.
Let me look at the essence. The essence is Sarah's daughter's wearing yellow, by the way. She's bright yellow. Don't know who the gentleman is, but there's a gentleman. There's a father or grandfather like essence, and then this other gentleman trying to point out. He just drew an R, which would be, like Randy, or I don't know. I'm getting better at names, but actually I'm not, but I'm trying. Getting better at initials though. And when they draw out an R or they wear an initial, Marianne, on their shirt, on their chest, they're indicating that's important to them. She just put a flower in Sarah's hair. So there's a little flower.
Oh.
Sarah probably can't feel it, but the daughter just put a flower in her hair. So yeah, there's two gentlemen. One seems to be a father, grandfather. The other one seems to be a brother. Could be an uncle, but it's young.
Mm-hmm.
It's 20s or 30s. It's like a friend of Sarah's. Somebody's like a brother to her, or I don't know that it was her brother. I'm not getting that, but yeah. So.
Okay. All right. So this is very important for everyone who's listening now, because it's impossible for us to get to all of the questions that everybody asks in an evening. Jerry and I do this show every other week, and sometimes Tuesday, sometimes Wednesday, but it's always announced in advance on our Facebook page, Sanctuary for Mind, Body, and Spirit, and our YouTube channel. And I know that this isn't super easy, but if you can cut and paste, that's the link to our Sanctuary YouTube channel. But it's the Sanctuary for Mind, Body, and Spirit, just same as it is on Facebook, and it's on our website as well, thesanctuaryfl.com, when the next show will be. So if you can plan in advance that you want to participate in the show, and then maybe get on in the beginning too, because I always hate it when everybody doesn't get a reading, but that will increase your chances. So I've put, there's our website there, Sanctuary FL, and then Jerry's website there, if you would like to get a full reading. And Jerry's prices are extremely reasonable for somebody of his caliber, as I always say.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, because I know you want to help, and it's
Yeah.
just it's a beautiful thing that they're able to do these on there. So Sarah said thank you very much, by the way. So
Oh, you're welcome, Sarah.
let's do one more.
Sure.
Let's see, for tonight, and then again we'll pick this up again in 2 weeks. Here we go.
Okay. I'm going to mispronounce your first name. I had a bad habit of doing that. Alina? Is that how you pronounce it?
Right.
Because Alina, I apologize if I mispronounce your name. Sorry. So the first thing I'm hearing is from one of your spirit guides. This seems to be a Native American or an Aztec or Mayan type person. So I don't think it's Native American. There's an awful lot of gold and copper. And so it's more Aztec Mayan. And yeah, I think it's Mayans. They had the big, right, with the big structure, like a temple type thing. And Alina, the spirit guide said it's time to evolve. It's time to come out of your shell. And this is him speaking now. It's time to come out of your cocoon or shell. It's time to fly. It's time to float. It's time to, it's going cliche, but it's time to spread your wings and go to dimensions that you know exist, and you're trying to get there. And I think you'll get there. And so your sixth sense gifts, Elena, is very, very strong. It's time for, see, they're saying this spirit guy saying it's time for a change, big change. I feel a certain suffocation within yourself, or I say suffocation. Let me rephrase that, Elena. I feel you're bumping your head against the ceiling, like I've done what I can do over here. I don't know if that's relationship wise, which is basically none of my business, but relationship wise, or if that's work wise, or environment wise, or friendship wise. And it's time to break the ceiling, to break the, what's the old phrase, to break the glass ceiling, shatter the glass ceiling. And because I feel stymied is a better word. I feel stymied. Like I want to evolve. I want to go and do what my mission and purpose is. And your mission and purpose is you have psychic abilities. You have strong psychic abilities. You can see it just jumping off your picture. It's time to, and I think you've explored that. So it's time to explore that even more, even more. Let's look at the loved ones. Gentleman just drove by in a motorcycle. So I don't know if you lost it by that rides a motorcycle, but he just drove by in a motorcycle. And he said, "Go get him, kiddo, go get him." And then he's gone. Now he's connected to you. He's not somebody crashing a radio. He's connected to you. And he said, "Go get him, go get him. You're gonna do great." I think there's a huge shift in career coming up. And I don't know if you work for yourself right now, or I don't know if there's a call in to do that, but I'm feeling some frustration with that as well. Either I want to do this or I'm not doing that, and I need to go do that. There's a woman coming through with a mom-like essence. Can mean mom, can mean mother-in-law, can mean someone who is like a mom. Doesn't mean grandmother. I don't see grandmother who is like a mom. Well, it could be a grandmother who's like a mom. And that's the essence they're giving off. But this woman is, she's got an apron around her waist, and she's she goes, "It's time to get back in the kitchen." She goes, "Just kidding." It's funny. That is funny. It's got a wooden spoon. Back in the day, but those days are long gone. And you know, Elena, she says, she's almost saying my daughter. And even though it may not be your mom, she refers to you as my daughter, the entrepreneur, the businesswoman. That's how she refers to you. We're so proud of you. The whole family is so proud. All of a sudden, Elena, here's about, I don't know, 1,000 people. It's a big crowd. Obviously, I can't bring them all in, but it's a big crowd, and they're all connected. So I'm going back 2, 3, 4. I'm going back 5 generations of people who are so excited of what you're doing and what you're going to do. This woman is saying, anything, know that, don't self-talk yourself. Don't talk yourself out of doing things that you know is right. Mm-hmm. Don't listen to the naysayers. Don't listen to the negative energy. Don't listen to the people who say, "Well, Elena, you can't go do that." So Spirit really gets upset when that happens. And so just please know that that's, you have a lot of spiritual people around you. There's a nun around you. Mm. Wow. I've got priests around me. I think most of the time they just kind of shake their head at me. But you have a nun around you for spiritual guidance. Doesn't mean you become Catholic, or if you're Catholic, whatever. Has nothing. When you get in the spirit realm, the religions just kind of break down. Mm-hmm. Okay, it's not the division of religions. It's just a light within you. That's what Spirit draws upon, and you have a lot of light. You could be the life of the party, Elena, and not even know it. Just by walking in, people go, "Oh, there's Elena," attracted to your light. So anyway, that's what I have for you. So thank you. And thanks to everybody. And sorry for your losses. I really am. Say a prayer tonight for everybody.
Yes, yes. Well, this has been fun as always. So I think we will sign off for tonight. I'm glad that we got to get to the people that we did. And I'll look forward to talking with you again in 2 weeks. I'm sure we'll have a lot to talk about. The election will be over. Spirit Fest will have gone down in the books, and we'll just see what the current topics are and what we've got to chat about then, and look forward to doing more readings for the listeners and the viewers.
Sounds good.
Yeah. All right. Well, good night, everybody. And thank you so much.
Good night, everybody. God bless. Halloween's coming up.
Yay.
Yay.